Today's date is June 19th, 2020, Friday. The time is approximately 8:53 p.m. This will be part 3 of playing some inventory that I'm doing on my documents. I've already made several videos, so I'll be pretty quick about this. I left off on the complaints and allegations I'll be making against the Canadian government and the RCMP, or well, the Canadian government. We'll see who's at fault or what happened. There was several videos of the incident. You never know what was given or what wasn't given. So uh, that was being said, I have a very good case on the Manitoba government for police corruption and courthouse corruption, and among other things. But I left off on this area, and this is to say again. This is being this should be brought to the attention of this RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki, the Attorney General of Canada David Letamy, and the Attorney General of Manitoba Cliff Cullen. And this is also to say that there's no powers of attorney on me. That I've been persistent and consistent on making this claim, and that I have reason to believe I'm subject to a major fraud or conspiracies, if you will, with through organized crime and other groups. So I have reason to believe that my communications are making it out. It's being held under powers of attorney. The government has, if they've been receiving my emails, or not the government, but any person that's trying to claim ownership over my emails through power of attorney or anything like that, I'm going to be pursuing criminal complaints. I'm going to be pursuing criminal complaints for accessory to organized crime, obstruction of justice. So any of those emails that relate to criminal complaints and my trying to get my statements to the government or police, and they are intercepting them and taking credit or obstructing them or committing crimes based on those allegations. Given that it's organized crime related, I'm going to be pursuing those. And there's allegations of conspiracies, obvious conspiracies to commit murders on me and my brother while in prison. The most recent incident with my brother, I don't know the facts behind it. I don't know if he instigated or pissed off the IPs, the Indian Posse, or however it may have worked. So I don't want to comment on it too much, but it almost, given that some of the concerns that I had and the teasing that I felt they may have been subjecting me to towards these incidents, tells me that this was a planned incident. So I left off on the area of this LIRA complaint. This is going to be to the Law Enforcement Review Agency of Manitoba, to the Manitoba Justice Department. And this has to do with a May 9th, 2020 incident occurring behind Connie's Corner restaurant here on Main Street and Salford Avenue between Austin. And I've been called the police immediately. I've made my reports, and these are all hand printed transcripts. Whatever available reports. Well, I haven't received any reports, but I've been working on lots of things here, and the government and police have been ignoring my complaints. And I've been identified as a pedophile, not officially. I don't have evidence to prove that either. But just from what I wrote and got people to sign, like such as Sherry Hastings, Weeb, Flat, Fox, whatever her last name may be. With that being said, I think they're going around telling people that I'm a pedophile or I'm a risk to women or children or whatever it may be, and that they're not responding to me. There's probably most likely a power of attorney fraud or some kind of fraud being committed on me, where they're not processing my complaints, and during the times of these obstructions, my family, relatives, and including my mother, my brother Chris, and other and myself have been subject to conspiracy crimes by the police and Justice Department and Canadian government. So, with that being said, after I made this complaint and the evidence and the things that I uncovered relating to this incident, such as the conspiracies to commit intimidation or serious harm towards me on May 7th, 9th, and other dates, birth dates, and things like that. I'm concerned this incident was a happy birthday, if you will. It was this was probably most likely supposed to be turned into a major conspiracy incident. It was supposed to spark immediate outrage to the point where I was going to be probably killed here by citizens, and my brother would have been violently murdered in prison. I still think they proceeded with the attack on my brother, even though that didn't happen. And I say that too because I have concern that this may have been planned out for years, and I've always maintained that we were brought to this area for the things that are probably unfolding. And the reason I say this is being directed towards me and another person, I would refer that to a current Canadian mayor, Irvin Ferris. I know Mr. Ferris from when I was a youth, from Agassiz Youth Center, when I was, in trouble as a youth, incarcerated. This is in Portage Prairie. And I remember Mr. Ferris as a nice man. He was a good man. He seemed to care about the kids that were there and the things that they were doing and the programming that he was trying to, put them through and things like that. So in my mind, in my opinion, Irvin Ferris is a good guy, and I have nothing bad to say about him. And if there was anyone out there that would have maybe stuck up for me that was in the Justice Department or even in the RCMP somewhere along the way, I think it would have been probably Mr. Ferris. So, and I don't know anything about cop lives and organized crime and bikers. I know nothing about that kind of stuff. So, but I'm starting to think that given the boy's name here, Darius, the implications and some of the things that have happened, I don't want to get into it all. I'm thinking maybe this might have been a shot at, if you will, at both me and Mr. Ferris. I think Mr. Ferris might have stucken up for me somewhere along the way. And, people in between are trying to ensure that nothing bad happens. But this looks like this is Mountie related, but I'll let so, and this is, I also want to say that I'm also writing Russian President Putin. I won't go into the details. It's also in respect to my brother Chris, who was stabbed, a survivor of another conspiracy and attempted murder. And the reason I say that is because when my mother was going through her, I would say, government execution at the Grace Hospital, there was a couple that came into her bed at her bedside and went to shake her hand, and there's this statement I made quite a while ago, and the way this incident unfolded, that's where I got the kiddo from. But they went to go shake my mother's hand and mine over my mother passing, getting sick from cancer at the Grace Hospital. And they did it in a way where the jacket said kiddo, where they covered the S up good enough to where it said kiddo, almost like, and it had the garbage man green. The guy's coloring was green, and I see it out there all the time, and I see what they're doing. So I'm a bit offended, but whatever. I'll get over it. So since that time, the harassment at the hospital, the execution of harassment, intimidation on birth dates, the items that are received from a former sister-in-law, Sherry, who can be linked to most likely to the law courts building, Winnipeg Police, and Mounties. And I say Mounties through her probably being an informant or something to that nature. I'm not sure. But given the harassing and implicating evidence, and that the persons that are planting this evidence on us, you could tell they don't fear a legal consequence. So I'm led to believe it's most likely the police. And I could be wrong. I don't know all the facts, but the Darius incident by a garbage can behind Connie's corner, the way it unfolded, that tells me that was a major conspiracy. And I won't get into the details because I don't know all of it. All I know is it's a human trafficking incident there with the Darius, a panthless Darius. So, and this is also to say that my great grandparents, one of them's a step grandparent, Elizabeth Hastings and Douglas Carl Hastings. They know the couple, or not Elizabeth, but my grandfather Douglas. He actually knows the couple that shook when this happened. So I'm pretty sure he knew them. Well, I don't know if he knows them directly, but he knows the family, this family for sure. So I just thought I'd bring that up. He's getting old. And I'll leave it at that. So, and all these materials are going over to the Justice Department, to the Legislative Building for Monday. And in this, I'm going to be asking for all these materials to be returned. I spent close to $500, $600 on photocopying. Well, like not all of this, but lots of stuff and other stuff as well. I got a laptop. I paid, $400, five, and I haven't barely used it. But this is to say that I'm asking for a witness security relocation right here, because I'm going to be making a laying of informations against Chief Danny Smythe of the Winnipeg Police Service and Associate Deputy Minister or former ADM Gregor Sefo and the Chief Judge, and probably more people, more officials in the near future for obstruction offenses and accessory and contradictory evidence and forgery and things like that. And I suspect this is going to gather significant media attention, and I would imagine people would probably want me to get a lawyer rather than me going out on. But I'm making these YouTube videos, and we'll see what happens. But I'm asking for the Manitoba government to more or less, if they can help assist in reimbursing all the efforts. And then the good things, I went looking out for Darius here and possibly other children in this area, and the families, everything. Just, it was a good thing that I was doing here, and I ended up spending an entire welfare check, plus I was given $200 COVID relief fund, and I have nothing to show for it, and I'm facing eviction. So I'm asking for if the government could assist in providing some funds to help me finalize my final preparations for a witness security location request, and that would entail me having lots of laying of informations against these officials and some other things. But speaking to this incident, this is a human trafficking. So I'm going to be, if they haven't responded and they're providing the responses they have, I'm concerned this is probably going to be a major incident, this one. And so I'm going to be asking for witness relocation on that, and that I'm going to be pursuing charges on high-profile government and Justice Department officials involved in this case. And this is relates to a kidnapping and conspiracy with the Winnipeg Police on May 13, 2017. This has evolved into a government corruption case as well. So it's going to be a high-profile case. I suspect a lot of officials are going to be probably, I would say, suspended from their duties to once they can finalize my allegations. And it's complex, but I come to realize I'm a smart person, and I'm pretty on ball on what I'm alleging here. But again, this is human trafficking. The police in this case haven't forwarded or made any efforts to locate the victims or to confirm their identities. And in Canadian criminal law, if you do anything knowingly to assist an offender to get away or comfort or receive or anything to that nature, you can be charged for accessory. You have to have the intent of helping that person. After all the phone calls and the attendances and everything that I did in relation to this, I'm concerned that the police are acting